Let's talk about what is typically Swedish in terms of cuisine. What would Swedish cuisine be without its traditional fermented fish? Surströmming is of course fermented herring, very intense in taste and smell. That's because it uses less salt, which makes it ferment instead of preserved. There are legends about it, from burying jars of surströmming in the garden, to banning herring from opening indoors, or surströmming as a biological weapon. Burying surströmming is more of an anecdote, but it does show how firmly this dish has rooted in Swedish culture and tradition. Yet the fact that it is opened outdoors is true. Surströmming is also traditionally not eaten solo. It's usually served with bread, potatoes, onion, and sour cream. Dammsugare. These cookies are called vacuum cleaners because in Swedish dammsugare literally means vacuum cleaner. They got their name from their long shape, which reminds of the old vacuum cleaners of the 1920s when these cookies gained popularity. Dammsugare consists of a mixture of crumbled dough, marzipan, cookies and butter, often flavored with punsch liqueur, hence the alternative name punschrulle. Then they are wrapped in a thin layer of green marzipan and dipped in chocolate. In addition to marzipan with chocolate, one of the most popular flavors in Sweden is licorice, or more specifically licorice candies. Herbal, slightly apothecary taste and smell is combined sweet or salty. There are licorice candies with filling or chocolate. A traditional dish of Swedish cuisine is certainly köttbullar. Swedish meatballs are often served with potatoes or mashed potatoes, with sauce, lingonberry jam and pickled cucumber. When I was in Stockholm, I saw this dish in almost every restaurant, so if you want to try them, you don't have to worry that there's nowhere to go. Köttbullar have gained international popularity, mainly due to IKEA, which serves them in its restaurants around the world. Another thing is something I've observed in Sweden, and in fact in the whole Scandinavia. Hot dogs are very popular, meaning korv. In Sweden, korv is a popular term for sausage, but it also very often refers to a hot dog. A typical Swedish hot dog is korv med bröd, which is a grilled or cooked sausage in a bun with toppings such as ketchup, mustard, fried onions, and pickles. In Sweden, hot dogs are available almost everywhere, from street stands to gas stations. Prinsesstårta is probably the most famous Swedish cake, princess cake. There are different variations of the original recipe in different languages. It's relatively simple to make and, depending on the occasion, has different versions. In the classic version, it is covered with green marzipan, just like dammsugare. For weddings it's white or pink, for Easter yellow, and for Christmas red. It is said that the princesses Margareta, Märta and Astrid loved it. The recipe for the princess cake appeared in the cookbook of their teacher, Jenny Åkerström, and was originally called gröntårta, or green cake. In IKEA you can try a mini version of the cake, and the last week of September is Princess Cake Week, launched by the Swedish Confectioners and Bakers Association Sveriges Bagare och Konditorer. It's time for the famous smörgåsbord. Smörgåsbord is a traditional Swedish buffet. Its tradition dates back to the 16th century. Initially it meant an aperitif or appetizer, but over time smörgåsbord replaced the main course and began to be served at weddings and during major holidays. The dishes are varied and divided into categories. As for fish, herring and marinated salmon dominate in Sweden. Then we have cold meats, salads and side dishes, hot dishes, often köttbullar, meatballs, or Jansson's frestelse, the so-called Jansson's penance. This is a potato casserole with anchovy. And finally, desserts and fruit. There are several unwritten rules of the buffet. Traditionally, it starts with fish, then moves on to cold dishes, meats, salads, and then to hot dishes and desserts. Here you can see the Swedish logo I talked about in the previous episodes, the principle of moderation. You put on small portions, but only to try as much as possible. Outside of Sweden, the word smörgåsbord started to mean wide selection of dishes or simply variety. The term smörgåsbord has become synonymous with a buffet, where everyone has free access to the food. It is also the centerpiece of an evening, such as Christmas, Easter, or Swedish midsummer. I will tell more about Swedish holidays in future episodes about Sweden. For the episode on Swedish cuisine, I tried to choose the most representative examples, the most famous and popular Swedish dishes and sweets: surströmming, dammsugare, köttbullar, korv, prinsesstårta, and smörgåsbord. Of course, there are a lot more dishes. I think Swedish cuisine is quite famous in the world. Certainly smörgåsbord. I think also köttbullar. And when it comes to flavors, I think Sweden is definitely licorice. That's all for today. Thank you. Vi ses!